I guess, are we ready for the main stories?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so we're starting out with Wheel of Time, Season 1. I have thoughts. I actually have AntiWoke thoughts on this.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Changing the programming on us, man.
Yeah, all the time I call out these anti-woke guys because they're screaming about all this stuff that doesn't even, in my opinion, apply. You want to talk about unnecessary wokeness? It's not. It's just like a key element in here where I feel like they're forcing it. So I'll go into kind of briefly like the books and this because It's been a while since I've read the books, but here's what I remember from the books. So the Dragon Reborn broke the world. The Dragon Reborn is a man. It's a person who can channel magic, but because of it being tainted by the Dark One, because the Dark One was a man, he tainted the magic side for men. So only women can cast magic safely. And a man who can cast magic has the threat of being the dragon. So that's why it's a threat. Now, this series is kind of all that, but then they add the idea that women can be the dragon too, which, again, like, if you want to complain about stuff like that, this is the type of thing where I'm like, that's it. Like, I don't understand the logic in changing that at all, other than to add that women can be the dragon, which, listen, like, you can see mirrors in our society. The idea that a man broke the world and women are kind of fixing it, although now there's, like, corruption with the amount of power women have and stuff like that. There are mirrors already, but I feel like they're adding other elements for no reason, other than to say women can be the dragon, which is missing the point, I feel, and it frustrates me. So yeah, that's my anti-woke rant.
See, I didn't know that, so that's something that's within the lore of the books, right?
Yes. Yeah, okay. And that's the thing. So I'm fine with changes from the books. There's lots of changes here. There's lots of stuff they carry over.
I mean,
lots of stuff they change.
I don't know, other than just the idea of, like, them trying to, appeal to all, demographics in there, but I don't know.
It's a weird change because, like,
it's an interesting choice.
Because there's plenty of women. There's plenty of powerful women in this story. I mean, Moraine is very powerful. But yeah, it's a weird change in my opinion, and I don't understand why. And I almost feel like it's an example of when, like, these writers are being woke without good reason. It's not like these 50 billion other examples. That's the problem. That word has been so fucking abused that it doesn't mean anything anymore.
No.
But it's like, if you want to target something, like, here's something you could probably take a shot at, but instead they're targeting fucking Blue Beetle, which was just a fun fucking movie, and, like,
why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
No,
like
why?
I said, like,
no. Why are they attacking Blue Beetle?
Oh, because it's racist against Mexican Americans. Didn't you know that?
What?
Yeah, that's our argument, dude.
What?
Yeah,
movie. Now, are these like voices who are saying this? Are they in Mexican American?
No. It's pretty much a whole bunch of white guys saying that a movie directed by a Mexican American, written by a Mexican American, starring a large Mexican American cast is racist against Mexican Americans.
Okay,
that makes sense, right? No,
Sorry, I'm gonna need a minute to process that.
Yeah, well, I can go on a little bit further because I'll put my anti-wokeness aside here because it's not like it's that big. So I'm gonna look at this series because it's gonna have its own thing.
I would say the only thing that would be, I guess, stereotypical to that culture would be the family aspect, but that was the point of the film.
Yeah. Thank you. I agree.
The fucking
Yeah. No, these people are ridiculous.
Oh my god. Fuck.
But
oh
so
god damn.
Putting aside my complaint about how they changed the dragon, which is a pretty big fucking element of this story.
Okay, yeah. I honestly I didn't get as far. There's a dragon.
Yeah. The a natural the idea is that every generation or so there'll be a male who can channel magic, who is a dragon reborn, and that there's the threat that they will break the world again. So this person has to be stopped, essentially.
Okay. See, I didn't get that at all. Like like we were talking a bit before. I don't mean just kind of steer back to the show a little.
Yeah.
Like I had a hard time getting into this, and I went in completely blind to it, and it almost kind of felt more like I didn't do the required reading before class. I was feeling like, okay, what? Wait, who the fuck are these people? Like, what?
Yeah, it's actually interesting to know that, Reed, because knowing the background story, I caught up fairly quickly.
Well,
but if you don't know, yeah,
and I mean, for a fan of the series and all that, I'm sure it hit a lot of points, and also how they opened it, because they kind of just hit you with a lot of information quickly, and it's just okay. Wait, what? So I mean, in the sense of moving a story along for the purpose of time, fine, yeah, cool, good. I don't know. I had a hard time like following what was going on and who was who, and I just felt lost during it.
I will tell you, there's also another complaint I have, is that I feel like they're Game of Throning the story a bit. Like they're adding some sex in there. Like I do, like, I guess that's an element. Like, I'm kind of forgiving of this, but like they really shouldn't be doing it.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
There was, after that scene where there's like in the tavern with all the candles and everything, I even thought like, this looks like the tavern at King's Landing.
Yeah.
Like to myself, I was just thinking that, and it's just funny that you say that, because that scene, I don't know, I guess I'm immune to it from Game of Thrones, so I just figured, okay, this is just part of it's key to the plot.
You know, well, I think the characters in the book were supposed to be a bit younger, so I think that's kind of what they're doing, because like in the book, Rand and Egwene, there's a flirtation there, and here they're fucking.
It's a hell of a flirtation. Right, shit.
Yeah.
A hell of a liberty on the creative end.
Karen is married, and I'm pretty sure the woman he's married to was just someone who liked him in the book. And I'm pretty sure she didn't die. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure she didn't die. So I'm pretty sure that's a whole new aspect added here. But yeah, they've done a fair amount of changes here to kind of Game of Thrones-ify it.
They're throning it.
Yeah. So there's lots of action here, and I'm not getting drawn into it, even though I know a lot of the story. So
yeah, it couldn't keep me. I tried.
I will say I want to give this a chance, because I liked the first few books. The series did go on a bit too long for me. It's like 15 books, and they're like an average of 700 pages per book. I got like 4 books in, and it's been a while.
Okay.
But I liked what I read, especially the first 3. I really liked the first 3. So I want to give it a shot, and hopefully it gets better. But like, this is not a great start. Now, saying all my complaints there, some things I actually want to say that this series does a really good job with. The sets, the costumes, even the effects, even though the effects aren't perfect, are all pretty fucking good. This series looks great, in my opinion. I think Amazon threw a budget at this, because I think it's clear Amazon is looking for a Game of Thrones, and I think this was kind of this was a big fantasy franchise, Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan's series, and they definitely wanted this to be their Game of Thrones. I don't think it quite took off. We'll see. Maybe season 2 will kind of pick up, but then they did Rings of Power, and I think Rings of Power is more of the success they were looking for. That definitely got an online buzz, from people screaming about how woke it was, and people actually watched it and said, it's decent.
Okay.
But yeah, so far I will say against Rings of one thing I will say in Rings of Power's behest is that it's actually doing its own thing. It's not trying to be like Game of Thrones. It's just trying to be a Lord of the Rings fantasy series, which I think this Wheel of Time definitely has potential to be its own thing and be a very cool fantasy series. Just, I don't want them to Game of Throneify it anymore. That's kind of my big thing. Just don't Game of Throneify it, and I don't like the minor changes.
Well, they're probably only doing it because they know it's a formula that works.
Yeah.
And, like they're just applying the philosophy, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, but it's a studio issue, yeah.
It's a studio thing, yeah. So, I mean, and they probably felt that's why the public felt, Rings of Power underperformed, which it didn't, in my opinion.
Yeah, no,
it was a great series.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a big Lord of the Rings fan, and I enjoyed that. Yeah.
So, Rings of Power, I said it before, I'll say it again. It starts slow, and then it just builds and builds, and then the last 3 episodes, in my opinion, are just fucking fire. Just great stuff. Essentially, I start the series a little bored, then we get to the end, I'm like gripped to my seat. I am on board. Maybe Wheel of Time will pick up as season 1 goes on. Maybe season 1 will kind of drop the ball, but maybe season 2 will pick it up. I hope this does well. I hope it gets better. I think that's a better way to say it. I hope it gets better. Because this is not, the first couple episodes are not a great start, in my opinion. Oh yeah, and I think it is kind of a fun fact. Rosamund Pike is obviously a big star, so she's kind of given more screen time here. But it's worth noting, the guy, Rand, the guy who's second from the right, who's kind of small there, is the main guy in the books. I don't know. I think to a degree, I actually think there's an advantage to the way the series is presenting it, because it's presenting Rand and Perrin and Matt as all kind of equals in the story, which does kind of add a bit of mystery as to which one will be the dragon, in my opinion. Because, obviously it's going to be one of those 3. And when it's the main character, it makes it a bit more clear. So I think that's actually a decent, the fact that Rosamund Pike is in the series, they obviously want to up her role quite a bit. So I get it. And I think the way they're handling that aspect is actually kind of clever, because it adds a bit more mystery as to who the dragon could be. Making it that women can be the dragon, I'm a bit not as big a fan of, but it is what it is. But yeah. So my initial review is I'm not a fan of the first 4 episodes, but I am hoping it gets better. Essentially, I'm crossing my fingers on it. And yeah, how far did you get, Bobby?
Barely finished the 2nd episode. I just felt confused and lost. I started watching something on on YouTube breaking down the characters and everything, because I just felt lost. I was just my head's swimming.
Yeah. Well, I do, like I said, I want this to get better. I think there's changes happening to this series that are obvious. It's probably studio mandates. Now that we've had time to kind of discuss it, that's why I feel like they're mandating things that really shouldn't be mandated. They should let the showrunners kind of do their own thing. Because like I said, this is a beautiful looking series. I think the actors are doing a pretty good job. Let's let the series do its own thing. Let's not, do the Game of Thrones things, because they're very different stories. Because Game of Thrones was all about intrigue and murder and all this background stuff. Wheel of Time was a more traditional story. It's more traditional, chosen one rising to fight the dark one type story. And
right.
Don't treat them like they're the same thing. They're not. But yeah, this is like I said, not a fan of the first 4 episodes. I hope it gets better. Season 2's coming out. We'll see how it goes.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.